Good day and welcome. Today, quadratic sequence and first difference. Now, it's a favorite exam question and you need to understand how to solve these problems. First, let's look at November 2018. So, given the sequence 2, 3, 10, 23, write down the next term of the sequence, right? So first, if I say 3 minus 2, I get 1. 10 minus 3 gives me 7. 23 minus 10 gives me 13. Right, so there is no constant first difference, so I have to subtract the second time. 7 minus 1 gives me 6, 13 minus 7 gives me 6. So if I add 6 to 13, 19, therefore my next term would be the 23 plus the 19, which gives me 42. Alright, this here is called my second difference, 2a, and that is referred to as my first difference. Now, very common question, 2.1.2, determine the end term of the sequence. So it always starts from the bottom and I work our way up. 2a equal the first term, 3a plus b equal first term of the first difference, and a plus b equal first term of the sequence given. So 2a equals 6, 3a plus b equal 1, a plus b plus c equal 2. 6 divided by 2 gives me a equal to 3. So in the place of a, I'm going to substitute 3 there. 3 times 3 gives me 9. If I take that over, 1 minus 9 would then give me negative 8. So now I have a and b as 3 and negative 8. So I substitute that in. C equal 2. So 3 minus 8 gives me negative 5. If I take it over, it becomes positive 5. 2 plus 5, therefore C equals 7. 1 mark for getting A correctly, 1 mark for getting B correctly, 1 mark for getting C correctly. Writing out the formula, remember the formula reads an squared minus bn plus c. So A there is 3n squared minus the 8n plus 7. So 4 marks for finding the n term. 2.1.3, calculate the 20 term of the sequence. So Tn equal 3n squared minus 8n plus 7. To get the 20th term, I just simply substitute in the place of n 20, and wherever I see n, I place 20, so that is 20 squared minus 8 times 20 plus 7. Right, that gives me 400 times 3, which is 1002, minus 160 when I multiply that, plus 7, which then gives me 1047. 1 mark for substitution, 1 mark for answer. Very important that you understand. So that's a very basic exam question. Let's go to the next exam question. Given the arithmetic sequence, 35, 28, 21, calculate which term of the sequence will have a value of minus 140. Right, so they've given me arithmetic, so A is 35, T equal negative 7. So Tn equal A plus n minus 1 times T for arithmetic sequence. A being 35 and T being 28 minus 35 gives me negative 7. 21 minus 28, negative 7. So in place of A, I substitute 35. In the place of T, I substitute minus 7. 1 mark for that substitution, and then Tn equal negative 140. From there, if I multiply out, minus 7 times n gives me negative 7n. Negative 7 times negative 1 gives me plus 7. Right? From there, if I take 35 over, 140 minus 35 gives me 175. Plus 7 goes over, becomes minus 7, which then gives me negative 182. Negative 182 divided by the negative 7 gives me n equal 26. So therefore, term 26 would equal negative 114. So that's still November 2018. And November 2018, for which values of n will the sum of the first terms of the arithmetic sequence in question 2.2 be equal to the n term of the quadratic sequence in question 2.2.1. Right, so for 2.2, we had a equal 35, t negative 7. Right, for which values of n will the sum, the first n terms in question 2.2 be equal to the n term of the quadratic pattern. So we're starting with sum for arithmetic sequence. So we had 835, t negative 7. So sum to n terms, n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 times t. So a there, 2 times the 35, t being negative 7. So negative 7 times n gives me negative 7n, negative 7 times 1, plus 7, 2 times 35, 7. So if I multiply out, I have 70 plus 7 gives me 77 times n divided by 2, which makes it 77n over 2. Negative 7n times n gives me negative 7n squared divided by 2. So there's my formula for a sum. So the sum of the first terms of a arithmetic sequence is equal to the n term of the quadratic sequence, so equal to the formula of the quadratic sequence. So this formula I found must equal 3n squared minus 8n plus 7. Because I have an equation, I always get rid of the denominators by multiplying by 2. So there's denominator of 2. If I multiply everything by 2, so if I multiply here by 2, I'm left with minus 7n squared. If I multiply there by 2, I'm left with 77n. 3 times 2 gives me 6. Minus 8 times 2 gives me negative 17, and 7 times 2 would then give me 14. Right, if I take everything over, minus 7 becomes plus 7. So 6 plus 7n would give me 13n squared. Minus 66n minus 77n would give me minus 93n. And 14, the constant, has nothing to be added to, so it stays constant. From there, if we factorize, 13n can only be 13n times n. And 14 there, if I use minus 7 times negative 2, I have positive 14. So 70, 21, minus 7 times 13 would give me minus 91. Minus 2n gives me minus 93n. N cannot equal a value that's not a natural number, so it can't equal 2 over 3 or n equal to 7. Alright, so I hope you follow that question. Now we're going to be looking at November 2023. Now in this question, slightly different, given in 2018 we gave you the sequence. Here we say following information is given about a quadratic number pattern. So they say term 1 is 3. Term 2 minus term 1 is 9. So there's 3. Term 2 minus term 3 gives me 9. Then we have term 3 minus term 2 equal 21. So term 3 minus term 2 gives me 21. Alright, so if we continue, 21 minus 9 then gives me 12. So they've given me all the values, second difference. So 2a equal 12. 3a plus b equal 9, and a plus b plus 6 equal 3. Now they say show that term 5 equal 111. So if I continue from term 2 plus 21, therefore 21 plus 12, 33, 33 plus 12 would give me 45. So term 2, 3 plus 9 would give me 12. 12 plus 21 would give me 33. 1 mark up to there. Term 4, 33 plus 33 would give me 66. Therefore, term 5 is then 66 plus 45, which then gives me 111. I hope you follow. So I just said 3 plus 9, 12. 12 plus 21, 33. 33 plus 33, 66. 66 plus 45 gives me 111. Now they say show that the general term of the quadratic pattern is Tn equals 6n squared minus nn 9n plus 6 for 3 marks. So we have 2a equal 12. So 12 divided by 2, a equals 6. 3a plus b equal 9, but now we know a is 6, so 3 times 6 would give me 18. If I take that across, 9 minus 18 would then give me negative 9. Right? Then I have a plus b plus c equal 3. So a being 6, b being negative 9. So 6 minus 9 gives me negative 3. If I take it over, 3 plus 3, c equals 6. 1 mark for a, 1 mark for b being correct, 1 mark for c being correct. The formula I can't give you a mark for because that's given there is 6n squared minus 9n plus 6. So hope you follow. Alright, let's see, look at the next question. Show that the pattern is increasing for all n element of natural numbers. So Tn equals 6n squared minus 9n plus 6. Alright, if I do first derivative, 2 times 6 gives me 12n. 1 times negative 9 gives me negative 9. So I have my first derivative equal to 0. 12n minus 9 equals 0. Therefore, n equal, if I solve, if I take 9 over positive 9 divided by 12 equal 3 over 4. Therefore, n is greater than 3 over 4. Tn is then increasing for n element of natural numbers. Right? Let's look at the next question. November 2021. So this one, as you can see, is a decreasing sequence. We're trying to catch you out with negative values. Right, so consider the quadratic number pattern. So they've stated what pattern I'm working with. Minus 145, minus 122, minus 101. Write down the value of term 4. So a plus b plus c equal the first term minus 122 minus 145. So 145 minus 122 gives me 23. Minus 101 minus 122 gives me 122 minus 101 is 21. 21 minus 23 would give me negative 2. So there 21 minus 2 gives me 19. So value of term 4 minus 101 plus 19 would then give me 82. Show that the general term of this number pattern again is given as minus n squared plus 26n minus 170 for 3 marks. So 2a equal negative 2, a equal minus 1. 3 times negative 1 plus b equal 23. So 3 times negative 1 is 3. If I take that over, 23 plus 3 gives me 26. So now I have a as minus 1 and I have b as 26. Minus 1 plus 26 gives me 25. If I take that over, minus 145 minus 25 gives me minus 170. So 1 mark for A, which was given to you there, 1 mark for B, and 1 mark for C. No mark for the formula, because that was given there. Let's hope you understand and follow so far. So work through the exam questions. Between which two terms of the quadratic number will there be a difference of minus 121? Right, so the first difference there when we worked out was 23, 21, and 19. Meaning a equal 23, t equal negative 2. So Tn equal a plus n minus 1 times t. Right, my Tn is negative 121, a is 23, t negative 2 times n gives me negative 2n. Negative 2 times negative 1 gives me plus 2. 23, if I take it over, minus 121 minus 23 gives me 144. If I take 2 over, 1 minus 144 minus 2 gives me negative 146 equal negative 2n. N therefore equals 73. Therefore term 26 equal negative 140. Right? No, can't be. I have 73, so which two terms? Quadratic pattern there should read term 73. My apologies, typing error. But we should know term 73 of the linear sequence must equal term 74 minus term 73 of the quadratic sequence. So which two terms? Term 74 minus term 73. Alright, because we have term 73 there as an answer. What value must be added to each term in a number pattern so that the value of the maximum term in the new number pattern formed will be 1? So we have the original equation, minus n squared plus 26n minus 170. Again, if I find the first difference, 2 times negative 1 gives me negative 2. 2 minus 1 gives me 1. 1 times 26 gives me 26. 1 minus 1 is 0, so n falls away. Anything to the power 0 is 1. First difference of a constant term equals 0. So I have minus 2n plus 26. If I take 2n across, becomes positive 2n equal 26. 26 divided by 2, n equal to 13. So term 13 would equal minus 13 squared plus 26 times 13 minus 170, which then gives me minus 1. This can also be done via completing the square. I just now followed the principles of calculus. So to go from minus 1 to get to 1, I'm going to add 2. Alright, so instead of completing the square, I completed the first difference, because first difference equal to 0 also is used to find minimum and maximum values. So again, just to make sure you know the process, 2 times negative 1 gives me negative 2n. 1 times 26 gives me 26. First difference of a constant is always 0. So we make the first difference equal to 0, and I take 2n across. From negative it becomes positive, and I divide. So their maximum is at the 13th term. So I work out term 13, minus 169 plus 26 times 13 minus 170 gives me minus 1. So to go from minus 1 to positive 1, I add 2. Right, I hope you followed. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. God bless. Bye.